As somebody who's always advocated for the military family, I could tell you that they are very important to the military members and the mission. It is the families who are oftentimes the primary sources of support for the military member. Military families have a long tradition of staying strong and supporting each other, particularly during deployments and things like that. In my opinion, military families, I don't think, get as much respect as they deserve. They deserve a lot of respect, Again, it's the military families that's oftentimes going to be there to support that military member. That's going to be their primary source of support. Working mental health, Air Force mental health for a number of years, I can tell you, oftentimes, if we had an issue with a military member who, went on deployment and came back and was acting out, what have you, PTSD, TBI, one of the first things we would do during the assessments is we would want to talk with the spouse of the military member. If they were married, we want to talk with the spouse, because the spouse is the one that's going to see the things that we don't see, on a daily basis. And so it helps us to get in a position to help the military member. But it's the spouse that's gonna take the brunt of a lot of what occurs with PTSD and other things that come with service. Unfortunately, like I said, our spouses, our military families, they don't get the respect they deserve. They don't get the respect they deserve. I have a motto that I always say to people, particularly with other veterans. I always say that the families also serve. The families also serve. And they really do. Everything from the wives who have to keep changing jobs. They can't have a really solid career in the military. Don't get me wrong, I'm not speaking for everybody, but it is tough being a military spouse, having to go from place to place, being reassigned and things like that. And also the children. Everybody would agree that consistent education is so important. But oftentimes these kids are pulled out of school. They have to go back and meet new friends and go to faraway places, new countries and things like that. Don't get me wrong, there's certainly a benefit for those young kids to be able to see things outside of their own little worlds. But at the same time, there are sacrifices that military families make, the spouses and the children. So, hey, with that, salutes up to the military families. I will always support them, and I ask you to do the same. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.